Hi, I'm a massage therapist from Yorkshire. Specifically, I am a Shiatsu therapist known locally as Shiatsu Shane and also on YouTube as Shiatsu Shane. Now, I didn't start with a camera crew. I didn't start with an expensive camera or even any lighting or even a microphone. And I certainly never expected that YouTube would become part of my business. But fast forward 7 years and I have made just over £115,000 in passive income. Now, let that sink in. £115,000. That's right. And today I'm going to share with you how that happened, what worked, what failed, and if I were to do it again, what would I do differently? So we're going to go back to the beginning to explain exactly what happened. So what actually happened is I was watching a video, a technique video by a man called Eric Dalton, who's very well known. I'm sure if you're a massage therapist watching this, you'll know who that guy is. Now, he had an instructional video, and it was to do with the tailbone, actually. And as I'm watching this, it had about 5,000 views, so not a lot. But this other video got recommended in the corner. And basically, this video had been watched 50 million times. And I thought, why? So I clicked on it. And when I clicked on it, I didn't get it. It was 40 minutes long. It was just a Swedish massage. It was shot, I think, from just one angle. And I thought it was a bit boring. And I asked my son at the time, I was like, why do you think this is being watched 50 million times? And he just said, well, satisfying. And I was like, what do you mean, satisfying? So then we went down a bit of a rabbit hole and we started watching videos where people were chopping up soap or playing with goo or doing role play or whispering. And I kept seeing some ASMR. What's ASMR? So I googled it. Systematic meridian response. Basically, it's anything that sends tingles up your spine and makes you feel relaxed. And I thought, I get that. I get that in particular from films, in particular from heroic type actions in films and the music in the background. I love it. Anyway, so I said, right, let's type in ASMR massage. And all these videos came up. In particular, I spent quite a bit of time watching ASMR Barber. He's just a guy who travels around the world in his little blue shorts getting massages, and he's making a living out of that. So then I thought, well, if they can do it, surely I can do it. So then I set about it. I think a few days later, I'd already filmed a video for the week before that I chopped up to make little videos to advertise my business on Instagram. They weren't very good, but you know, it doesn't matter that they're not very good. I just wanted to do it and see if it'd like act a bit like a shop window. So then I thought, right, let's do another one. And I did it old school wise. I rolled the futon out and we did a seated massage with one of my clients. But this time, instead of chopping it down, I stuck it all on YouTube. And that's how we began. One step at a time, one ugly video at a time, one mistake after another, until eventually I started getting some traction. In the early stages, I set myself a little goal, right? I found out that you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in order to be able to monetize. So I gave myself the goal, let's see if I can monetize a channel in 12 months. And then I gave myself 2 years after that to see where I could take it and to see if it would generate enough money that basically, if I have a week off, like you'll know if you're a therapist like me, that if you have a week off or 2 weeks off, you're not earning, you've got no holiday pay, you've got nothing coming in, or likewise, if you're poorly for a week or two, you've got no fallback, you've just got no money coming in. So my idea was to create a bit of a net that if it'd cover maybe 2-3 weeks earnings a year, then that'd be enough. That would be enough for me just to cover that. The reality of it is that you need more to cover the time and effort that goes into making videos. Because if you sat there thinking, yeah, I want to earn 100 grand, I'll tell you now, it's not that easy. It's not quick. You've got to put the effort in, you've got to put the time in, you've got to put the hard work in. But likewise, you shouldn't be put off by not doing it. You shouldn't be put off thinking, I haven't got a good camera, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm uncomfortable on camera. You just need to go out there and do it. So anyway, going back, I've lost my thread a little bit. So yeah, going back, I just wanted to make it big enough that it could pay me a wage. And within them first couple of months, I think I released 10, 20, 30 videos, and nothing really happened. Couple of hundred views here, maybe one got up to 1,000, and I was like, wow, first video's got 1,000 views. Bit by bit, the subscribers were going up. And then 2 videos at the same time started to take off. And them 2 videos took me all the way to my first 1,000 subscribers. And I got monetized. So I think I got monetized within the first 3 or 4 months. And then after that, I thought, right, let's see how it goes. And I think within a year, I got up to 10,000 subscribers. And I'm not saying it's easy, but back then it were new, it were exciting. I were on a roll. Do you know what I mean? I was learning about video editing. I was learning about testing out different camera angles when I was filming. I were learning about thumbnails. And you know what? 7 years down the line, I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still trying different things. It's a constant evolution, if you like, of learning and redoing and learning and redoing and slowly getting hopefully better. I mean, I've watched some videos recently that I made 3-4 years ago, and I'd argue that some of them are just as good, if not better, aesthetically anyway, as what I'm making now. But I've got a slightly different style of what I'm producing at the minute. So yeah, like, you're constantly learning. And as you're constantly learning, subscribers are slowly building, views are slowly building. And it's not perfect. You don't go like that. It's more like a zigzag. Yeah. Now I've had periods of my channel where it's absolutely been flying, right? And I've been dancing around the room at the views and some of the money coming in, and it's been like good times. Likewise, that's when the sponsorship deals are getting thrown at you. Then last year in November 2024, my channel went on a massive decline. And then last year I switched to making more shorts, and that sort of like sent it back up again. And now I think I'm sat at just over 300,000 subscribers. My long form videos, they're not averaging as many views as what they did at the peak, but there's some that are still doing well. And the shorts, I've had some shorts getting several million views. So, you know, over time, this all builds up. And obviously that's building up, and you've constantly got them in the bank. That's bringing you in the money, as in like from the AdSense, but there's also other ways to make money once you've got your YouTube channel going. Because it's not just about the money. Yes, I've made £115,000 off YouTube, but how many extra clients has it attracted? How many brand deals has it got it? How much money have I made from online courses? There's been some weird ones over the years that I've made a few extra quid with. So, you know, it opens you up to different revenues. So rather than just being stuck only doing what you can physically do on a table, suddenly it opens the world up to different opportunities, whether that's through online courses or whether it's through affiliate deals or sponsorship deals or memberships. There's more to it than just what you see on the table anymore. And to be fair, I've pretty much tried everything over the years to turn the YouTube side of things into more of a business that becomes more lucrative. Some things worked, some things have not worked. Just like on YouTube, some things have worked and some things haven't. In fact, sometimes it's been a rather rocky road on YouTube. I mean, I've had good months, I've had bad months. At the peak of YouTube was pulling in anywhere between sort of £1,800 to $2,500 a month. Now that's an extra wage on top of what you normally earn. Bad months, I've had it drop down to a point where I've had bans where you don't earn any money. I've also had it drop down, the ad revenue drop down to as low as a few £100. But it's all there, it all adds up. It's there building over time, almost like an investment, almost like a pension. If I stop producing videos now, yes, my money would decline, but it'd still tick away with a little bit every day. Maybe not £50 a day, maybe it'll drop down to £10 a day. I'm not so sure. Right, so why is massage good for YouTube? Right, it's pretty, it's a good thing, right? You've got different people who watch for different reasons. So you've got your ASMR audience. They watch it because they want to help them relax. They want to help them sleep. And in that sense of the world, the content is evergreen, meaning that weeks or months or years down the line, people will still find and go back to the favourite videos and rewatch them. Then you've probably got sort of like a pain sort of like audience. People who've got maybe a pain in the shoulder. So they'll watch it, and you know what? There's a weird thing. When you're watching someone else getting a massage or a treatment, it sort of helps it. It sort of has a weird there's a proper term for it, but I can't remember it. Even if I can remember it, I don't think I can physically say it, right? But by watching someone else having a treatment, it helps them with the pain that they're having. Not only that, massage is a worldwide audience. You don't necessarily need to speak English to watch a video, because most of my videos have always been filmed in silence. I have experimented for the ASMR audience in giving narration, whether that's been softly spoken or maybe even whispered, right? But on a whole, it's not. My videos are done without talking. Now, for entertainment purposes, you might go watch Chiropractor, and they do tend to do a lot more talking. There's also another therapist, I think she's called Dr. Lucy. She used to talk during hers, and again, she's got a massive following. But in mine, it tended to be no talking. My biggest mistakes as a YouTuber, and the only way I could describe this is flying too close to the sun. Yeah, the old saying of the man, I can't remember his name, who had, created wings, and he flew too close to the sun, it melted and it burned down, right? I had a similar scenario, is in when I first started, there wasn't that many massage therapists on YouTube, and there weren't really any rules neither. As long as you did a massage and they weren't naked, you could put stuff on. And obviously, from a perspective of certain people, if there was a bit more, let's say, side boob or bum on show, then them videos tended to get a lot more views. And then one day, YouTube decided, right, we're changing the rules. So they changed the rules. And my channel got thrown out of the monetization program. I mean, it got thrown straight out. That way, boom, you're gone, right? And then you had to reapply once you'd made the changes. So, luckily then, the videos were obvious. I deleted them, reapplied, learnt my lesson, right? Or so I thought I learnt my lesson. Because about a year later, thrown out of the monetization program again. Now this time, YouTube, I wouldn't necessarily say it was my fault, but YouTube have basically gone on a mission to shut down a load of massage channels. And the reason being, at the time, there was, and they still are there now, there were quite a lot of Russian and Ukrainian massage channels that were borderline porn, right? So we all got hit with the same brush, that if you were making massage ASMR, you were out. And they kicked a load out. Now, some of the people they kicked out, there was a guy in Brazil, and he made like ASMR massage, but it was educational content. Dr. Lucy, who talked through her videos, she was kicked out. And basically, it was just a big cull. And you had to make changes to your YouTube channel and reapply. Now, obviously, when you have something like that, it's a massive kick in the teeth. And basically, you don't earn any money for it for a long time. And I think that's kind of why in sort of like November of 2024, suddenly my views stalled and started going down. Because YouTube builds up what it calls a safety rating. And in massage, there's quite a lot of flesh on show. So, it's not as safe as some other channels, which means it's not that it's not safe, it's the advertisers deem it as they don't want to necessarily advertise on that. So YouTube downplays your videos and doesn't push it to the furthest possible reaches. Now, that don't mean that I avoid showing any flesh. Absolutely not. However, if I was to create a new channel on massage today, I would try my best to try and focus on doing mainly head type massages, and probably do it, if I were doing the back, I'd place a towel so there's no sign of any sort of potential side boob, and therefore you'd never get to the point where you'd get downplayed. Also, it'll massively help with what's known as your RPM, which is your revenue per mil. And basically, the better audiences you have, not better audiences, but what they call tier 1, like America and UK, and if you're showing less flesh, you tend to have a higher RPM, which basically means, say if you've got 1 million views on a video, if you've got an RPM of £2, you're going to earn £2,000. However, if you're showing a bit too much flesh, or maybe you've not appealed to the Americans, but you've appealed to a different market that's a tier 3 country, your RPM might only be 50p, which means you're going to earn £500 from 1 million views. Whereas somebody who's in, say, finance, talking about money, they might have an RPM of £20, so for 1 million views, they're getting £20,000. But I think for a therapist, particularly those that are doing stuff like massage, beauty, that kind of thing, there is a massive untapped market out there. Now, don't get me wrong, in the last few years, I've seen a massive climb in how many massage therapists there are now doing YouTube, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's oversaturated. It's about carving out your little piece of your little world, if you like, your little bit of YouTube. You carve that out, and you basically follow. You sort of like try and get the slipstream of other YouTubers in order to get that little bit. But we'll go into that maybe another time. Other than saying what I'd actually film differently, right? I don't think I'd change how I started any differently, because literally I started with my phone. I think at the time it was a Samsung S8, and that's all I had. And then I think about a month or two down the line, I bought a cheap plug-in mic that on a wire that I then taped onto my wrist. That looked a right mess. And it were a bit better, not massively better. And then over the years, I've moved on to using different cameras, different mics. But initially, if you're thinking of giving it a go, start cheap and just get a phone. Just use your phone. And the beauty thing is, if you're using your phone, you can easily edit that. You couldn't 7 years ago, it was difficult, but now you can easily edit that. So you can use it both on YouTube and on Instagram, and you can probably edit it on your phone using something like CapCut. I think I mentioned a while ago about working 4 days a week, right? So here's how I do it, right? I basically work 4 days a week, and I'll get in maybe 6 clients a day. And then, so that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then on the Friday, I do a filming day, right? I'll get 1 client in for maybe 2-3 hours, and I'll film. Now, obviously, if you're doing it on your phone, it's probably a bit quicker. But nowadays, I use your camera, I get lights out. I try to make better quality videos. But to begin with, just get your phone. The phones are that good nowadays that you'll be able to make something awesome. And then from that, you want to make 2 or 3 videos, long form, that you can upload to YouTube. Then, as well as that, you can cut that down and you can use it on Instagram, Facebook, and basically it's to show your clients what you do, right? And the more your clients or people in your town, village, whatever, city, in your area, that see them videos and what you do, they're more likely to book. So it acts as 2 things. 1, you're making passive income on YouTube, right? 2, you're then attracting clients locally. So splitting your day up like that, where you work 4 days and 1 day you film and then you edit them videos, is what I consider an efficient way of working. So if you're out there and you're thinking, wow, I'd like to earn £115,000 and I don't know where to begin, that's it. That is where you begin. Literally, just get your phone, get a cheap tripod from Amazon, probably 15 quid, stick it on, invite one of your clients round on a day either you've got no clients or a set day like I do, film for 2 or 3 hours and upload onto YouTube and just take it one step at a time like that. And you'll find that if you can get into the rhythm of doing 1, 2, 3 videos a week, then you'll start to grow as well. And then you can start to look at making things better, making the thumbnails better, making the titles better. But for now, just look at it like, let's do some filming. Don't matter how ugly the video is, and let's get it on. Let's actually make that first step. And like I say, we're cutting that video into clips that you use on social media to advertise clients. You got to remember that making massage videos is beyond YouTube. It's not just YouTube. Yes, right, YouTube, the ad revenue is great, right? But the other side of it, and I did look at it there, I've got it written down somewhere, but beyond just YouTube, I probably made, through affiliates, sponsors, memberships, various different things, online courses, I probably made in the last 7 years around £250,000 online. That's done online without, knackering my hands up doing millions of treatments. So that passive extra income makes a huge difference to your life and your business. If you're a therapist and you're watching this, stop waiting, get your camera out, go film, go make your first video, upload it. Feel free to send me the link to your first video. It'd be dead cool to see it, wouldn't it? If anyone starts and they make a video, send me the link. You can find me on Instagram or Anyway, basically, just search Shiatsu Shane, send me the link, and you could be looking back in 7 years' time and thinking, wow, you know, what a journey I've been on. Look, I've made all this money and I've got these followers and this has happened and that's happened, and it just can be a bit crazy like that. Also, if you'd like me to make this into a series talking about how you can create a YouTube channel, and giving you tips, because I know out there's a lot of gurus, right, that make videos about how to make a YouTube channel, but basically their YouTube channel is how to make a YouTube channel, whereas they might never have actually done a YouTube channel. And you know what, I've made about 11 since I started, right? Now admittedly they're not all active, but like I've made like a couple of branches of Shiatsu Shane. So the Shiatsu Shane music, which were a backup one really when I got banned. There were the Shiatsu Shane Light Touch, which I'm going to lean more into the ASMR aspect. I've made a couple of channels for other people and then helped them set it up and left them to it. I've got a little one that's like my baby channel that I'm growing now, and that's to do with static caravans, actually. Totally different niche, but you know, I'm growing that right now. And obviously I've made this one now. So this one is the Shiatsu Shane method. It's all about coaching. It's all about growing your business. And I know I haven't been as active on it as what I'd like to be, but I'm going to be more active. So if you'd like more coaching videos on how to be a massage YouTuber, or even just how to grow your YouTube channel, and you found this helpful, let me know in the comments below. Let's have a conversation, and hopefully I'll see you in a new video coming shortly. Goodbye.